I've prepared quite a large presentations on the barley pickers. Specialists try to convince that there is no economies in the whole thing, and this is slavery working conditions. Is it right under Finn's nose? What are you going to do about it? So this is 2012. Finnish embassies in Bangkok said that issued an open statement that barley pickers cover the cost of the trip themselves, and their income depends on the amounts of picked barley. A bad year due to weather or other unpredictable events may bring unpleasant surprise. Unfortunately, that is almost every year. And also, the Thai newspapers in June, they're not collect enough pickers, so Ministry of Labour in Thailand helped the barley companies by issued an open statement to the newspaper and said that there is a job opening in Finland and Sweden for 7,000 barley pickers. In Sweden, you get 80,000 baht salary. In Finland, just 2,000 picker quotas. And so, surprise, from few quotas, this year we have 10,000 picker comes to Sweden and Finland because of the promotions of the Ministry of Labour who know nothing about it. Just go quickly. So, you know, the barley picker is seasonal. It's only July to October, the first week of October. And this is the agricultural gap in Thailand because the Thai farmer will start planting in June. By July they are free, and by November they go back to harvest. And so barley picker job is fueling the new targets of the migrant workers in Thailand. Is a farmer who never go out anywhere. So they feel that they have 3 months gaps to wait for harvesting. Why not come to pick barleys? So this is the circles. It's since 2006 when the companies in Finland start issue the official invitations for Thai picker to come. This is the circles of the Thai small farmer debt circle. They add one more debt circle, which is barley picking debt also. Okay, so we see how Thais who know nothing about Finland, about vessels, about bears, about barleys, flying 16,000 kilometers to come to Finland. After 3 years, there are so many sad stories of these. I estimate that on totals, there might be over 30,000 Thais who have fallen into this kind of false dream marketing by the labor recruiting agents in Thailand, in Sweden and Finland. I happen to see the newspaper here said that promoting of barley picking is like development aid to the poor country. So let's see what this development aid to Thailand is from opening the job for barley pickers from Thailand. You know, the letter of invitation costs 1,700 euros, and that is the money coming from Bank of Agriculture in Thailand, who's supposed to be helping them, farming and loan the money for them in Thailand, but 5 million euros take out of Thailand every year to contribute to the barley picking industry, and 5 million euros is deducting in Finland for the cost to be here. So if barley company said they get, Thai picker got 10 million euro, you mean that they go home with zero money. So this is the development aid. The Thai pickers are paying for this Finnish barley industry. I think for you're not be talking about labor recruiting chains, how they can manage to get 10,000 pickers to come to Finland and Sweden every year. As you see, the top-down chains, the quotas is issued from Sweden and Finland, and it's authorized by the embassies in Bangkok. And the embassies notify the Ministry of Labour in Thailand, as well as notify the coordinators, agents from Finland and Sweden to mobilize the pickers as much as possible. And you see how many layers of orders. By the time it's reached the Mekong sub-region small farmers who are displaced and neglected by the Thai government droughts and dam, the message that is channeled out from the company said we need 500 pickers, just no matter what, bring them to us. When it comes to the villager, the message is gone to that you come to picking barley, easy, you get 2,000 euros back home. That is the message they got, and that is how they got 10,000 euros. 10,000 pickers every year. Okay, this is the Finland and Sweden has been arguing what system they're going to be. Sweden is now legalized them to be under employment contracts, but Finland still go on with this holiday making tourist visas, and these are the Thai tourists to Finland. I like to stress the point that we're talking about labor protections, defense work, and these data never be it never be denied. So working hour per day and holidays and overtime payments. These figures 70 days, 12 to 20 hours per day, working equivalent to 7 months of normal working hour of Finns. This is not calculating of overtime money payments. So their wages is 7 months salary according to Finn labor protection law. And that's why they bring in here because body industry refuse to pay this much. Why 2 months making so much of a noise? You see, to bring in 10,000 pickers, the system is for 2 months contract system. It's the same way you arrange for a 5-year contract to go to work in Israel. You need agents, you need visa, you need insurance, you need tickets, you need service here and there. The pickers today, after 2 months, after you paying on everything, you work for free. The identities, the suffering of this industry have bought in just 2 months, and that is the issue that needs to be discussed here. How we allow the God gift buried forest to bring in so much level of density, and how we close our eye to see that these pickers who work have to pay so many layers before they get the money of their own. So I'm sorry, I'm going to be very tough. If the Finnish Burley company attack me, please know that this is we're talking about human rights, labor rights, and decent work. Okay, so Finnish Burley industry now, for so far, they are attempting to legalize trade partnerships to deepen exploitations of our everyman right, attempting to establish new trade mechanisms to institutionalize new form of slavery, to ensure that the rich get richer and poor starve, poor stay poor. The whole thing is like violent decent work, working hours, living conditions, cold sickness, accidents, eating so many painkillers from head, stomach, muscle, feet, everything for 2 months. They eat breakfast and lunch in the forest, standing to eat. Sometimes I see them eat and pick berries, and then hot soup in dinner, and that's the way the Thai tourists in Finland have feast. They are picking matches. No human being can work the way that the Thai work, and the reason that the Thai work and the Thai is chosen by body industry, not Vietnamese, not Chinese, because they were heavily bounded to the monies they're taking in. So they were forced to work every day, even when they're sick. The Asian, when we visit them in the camp, they said people are so happy that they want to go to the field every day, even they're sick. They want the doctor to inject medicine to get them recover faster. And they think that is good. But it's not good, but because of the pressure, the system make pickers bonded to the money and to the debt that they have to force themselves. So they eat little, sleep little, no holiday, no sick leave, no joys. They have to aiming to pick 100 kilograms of berry a day to return with 2,000. 2,000 euro is their target. But this was refused to acknowledge by everyone in Finland. The berry boss has said that if picker got 100 euro is good enough because that's the minimum wage in Thailand. So after 5 days they come to Finland. They come with exciting, rich country, beautiful countries. After 5 days they just want to sleep anytime they got the chance. And there is the word, after 5 days, the word that you have been hearing from them all the time is otton. Otton means, it means starving. Ton means tolerance as much as possible, or starve to the limit. That is the only word that Burley people saying for the past 2 months of their work here. So the experts said that 80% of all Burleys remain unpicked. The berry industry said, we want more pickers, we want more pickers. The pickers said that there is not enough berry. Everywhere we go, just picker, too many pickers. Okay, I know, just 2 minutes. Okay, so this is what's important pictures. No one said, the agents of the company in the news said, oh, picker get 10,000 euros, or they go home with 5,000 euros. And the picker said, if we got nothing today, next year we get better. We're talking only about 40% of the pickers. Even every agent from Thailand and Sweden said, only 40% returns. What happened to the 60%? If it's good, the company doesn't have to do all so much effort to get the picker. If it's good, they will queue to come to Sweden. In June this year, quota is not filled up. What happened to the 60% that is not talking about, and no one reached out to them? So, push factor, losses, and left for Finland to fill. Was it the gain factors and the pull factor that Thai is chosen? There's so many push factors, militarisms, that you cannot, suppressions of the cultures of Thailand, corrupted bureaucracy, corrupted politics, no social welfare, neglected of small farmers, state support, labor recruiting agencies, available of low cost. You can name it, but the law says this is what is trying not to be highlighted, because this is about the 60% where no one reached them, no one talked to them, except me, and now I am not in Thailand. So they lost money, lifetime, capability, health, broken family, you name it. Every year there is accident. I see this, it's insulting to Thailand. This is advertisement to Finn, 100,000 Finn to go to Thailand, amazing Thailand. And look at this one, holiday trip to Thailand, for Finns. And this is holiday trip for Thai to come here to work for free, to contribute to the fast-growing industry. And this is the first time that the speaker receive Helsinki. They usually fly from airport to the Lapland and Lapland to the airport and disappear. No one knows. These people have problem and they contact me, so I arranged for them to be in Helsinki for the first time. The guy is 5 years here. He said the first time to see Helsinki. I try to get them smile. They never smile. They only go home with 50 euros in their pocket. So yeah, so there's so many to talk about. There is room for improvement. The company said we improve this and that, but that is not the core problems. The core problem is that there is no corporate social responsibility here. The core problem is the whole body processing export industry is anti-too many theses. It's anti of decent work thesis, it's antithesis of decentralism, antithesis of corporate social responsibilities, antithesis of every man's right. It's antithesis of freedom of speech, freedom of association, and collective bargaining right. And it's an insult to global Finland fair trade image that you are doing now. The forest burning industry now is trying to defend themselves, in shamefully taking advantage of oppressed small farmers. And it's Thailand. Thailand is a choosing country. And because they are accustomed to higher powers, you have less majesty law, you cannot insult the king. Even every picker's boss has said, we love the king. What the picker will say? No say. Trying to say, okay, the way forward is that we're talking about Finland, the promotion of defense work. You have to stop compromising profits before right. The industry, if the industry said that they want Thai worker badly, they have to treat them like professional workers, pay for them to come here, take them, respect them according to the Finnish labor law, and proper protections, and improve basic hospitalities. And there are a few more, last 2 slides. This is the outreach when I did in Thailand before I was stuck in Finland. Only one, when I went there, like talking to pickers, every village there are problems. These are berry pickers who lost in 2009. The reason that where we are weak is because the unionized sector in Thailand is heavily suppressed. The unionized population is 1% of the national labor force. That is the reason why Thailand is chosen, because people don't know their rights and they are not in the culture of organized. Thank you.
I think that it would be good to have this part of the picture too in the discussion this year. It has been discussed in the Finnish media only from the side of the landowners and this everyone's rights, and not I haven't read actually any news about what is the actual situation of the berry pickers. It's been only that there are berry pickers who come to offend this everyone's right, and that's of course one part of this issue, but not the most important part of that issue.
Regarding this issue, I also have a question, because you mentioned that you are going to this ASEAN meeting later on this year, and that you will discuss with the Labour Minister of Thailand about this issue. But one thing that came to my mind is that, well, Thailand is not an open society as like we are. It's a very highly hierarchical society. And second, there is no, they couldn't have a discussion like this, like a labor union movement, because there practically is no free labor movement in Thailand. So the information we might get in that meeting may be rather filtered. Yeah. So yeah.
I have to keep that in mind.
Just another tip for you in mind, because I have been following this for many years, and the message from the berry pickers is that they have to pay under-table money to the Department of Employment in Thailand. And that's from the picker point of view. We have complaints from the picker boards in Finland and Sweden every year. And this year I gave SY to 400 pickers to Sweden to return to Thailand, because employer refused to pay the money. When we notify the Ministry of Labour, we inform the media in Thailand, and we have staff to meet them at the airport. On the aeroplane to Thailand, everything settled. The companies pay the money, because they don't want any names. And Ministry of Labour go to the aeroplanes to take the picker away from the media, because they are hand in glove with the whole business. One of the reasons we highlight for the past 3 years is that the highly corruption of the bureaucracies of the Ministry of Labour itself that promoted unpromotable. This is totally the most expensive kind of jobs to come here, and actually Ministry of Labour negotiates the Bank of Agricultural Loans in the money guaranteed by the Ministry of Labour itself, in order for the bank to give loans to the pickers to come here, so that some of the top of the ministry can get incentive here and there. You are talking about a very highly institutional corruption of export labor migrations and private labor recruiting managed industry.
I would like to ask Janne Metsämäki, can you or your minister give a public recommendation on how much the berry picking companies should pay to the pickers? I'm sure that kind of public statement would have some effect with the local authorities and also with the media follow-up.
Well, I would answer that not so far we haven't giving that kind of, because it's an issue of different ministries to be taken on tourist visa. So I think this is an issue that has to be discussed with the different authorities and different ministries in order to get the better conditions for the berry pickers, and also discuss should there be an implicit contract like in Sweden. So not yet.
I think I could continue about this. It's a question for you also, and partly a comment. But there is for your information, in the guidelines for the seasonal labor. For this season, there is a minimum wage 900 euros that is expected from the picker to receive. So my questions to the Ministry of Employment and also the other ministries is that how is this followed now after the season, and what are the consequences if the companies are not able to provide that for the pickers? And well, just to mention that I'm the other researcher who did the report for the last year.
Okay, thank you. Well, in this, I think the responsibility of Minister of Foreign Affairs to collect this information. I haven't heard yet of this last season information. So of this season, then there was one question.
Okay, so hello everyone. I work as a senior inspector in Finnish National Assistance System for Victims of Trafficking, which is coordinated by Junya Reception Center. And well, as a general, I have to say that we have tragic stories, we have sad stories, and I just want to thank for the representation about berry pickers, because I think it was very good. And in my point of view, the key concept, the key point is exactly this concept of self-employed tourist pickers. Because without that, there are at least in some cases some element of forced labor, of discriminatory work, discrimination, and even trafficking. That's just a fact. So that's a big issue.
The first year, there were a lot of them in the Karelia area, and I was interpreting for many. And I have been working in Thailand over 20 years, so I was able to do that. And all I have heard here, I really agree, and I have written about 4 pages report what I have experienced and heard from the pickers, berry pickers, and I really agree also that there must be some follow-up, because for example in the pages of Finnish embassy in Bangkok there is beautiful story, but it's beautiful story. I'm sorry.